At the back stood up and said, "Sir, you know something? You enjoy the freedom to attack Christianity only because Christianity was preached to us first. Otherwise, you would have been boiling a soup in our pots." Remember that. That's very true. They can attack Christ and Christianity only because Christ was preached to them first. Otherwise, none of these professors would step in there. They loved the stew of those white flesh. No, this is truth, People will say, all those things. Christianity brought and gave them the freedom. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. But they are misusing the freedom. But thank God, Christianity at least brought freedom. You can attack Christianity. Our God is a gracious God. You say a word against Allah or against Quran or Muhammad Nabi, your head will be chopped off. But you can attack Bible, you can attack Christianity, you can attack everything. Sensible Christians will forgive them and tell them that, we have a concern for your lost soul. See the difference? Yes, that's the difference. So the world has been changed by Christianity. That's contribution, I say, of theology, Yes. The moral content of the Bible is another proof. No man could ever think of producing such a book as the Bible. Think of the moral values of the book. It can never be borrowed from outside. They're all absolute. They're all absolute. They're all absolute. Even take the Ten Commandments. What other nation on the earth? Today, even the Roman jurisprudence, the basics of the law, they all work upon the dignity of life, the dignity of property, the dignity of the institution of family. All these things, biblical principles are made into law. That's all they have. Stealing or murder or adultery and all these things. They are all in the Bible. They have borrowed it from there. Otherwise, these things were never. Where the Bible has not gone, these sins are not there. The Pandavas came after, winning, Panchali, they came and they told, "Mummy, we got a gift." All five shared. So all five shared. She became the wife of all five people. See how beautiful a story they could cook up. That's how the stories go there. But Bible, Jesus said in the beginning it was not so. He made them one man and one woman. They shall leave the father, he shall leave the father and mother and shall cleave to his wife, and the two, not the three, shall become one flesh. Yes, you say that why God allowed polygamy. God never allowed, God suffered. Because man was not mature, Man was not mature. Man has still gone away from God, and on his return journey he was still away, far away from the truth. So God suffered him. The archaeological and historical accuracy of the Bible is yet another evidence for the inspiration. Bible is again and again attested by the archaeology. Wherever they digged, they say that. Yes. The most convincing evidence of the divine inspiration of the Bible is the Bible itself, as I said. The Bible itself. If anybody honestly read the Bible will capture them. The Bible will capture them. Somebody told me, a Muslim once told me that, don't argue with the Muslims. There's no use. There's no use. He's a convert. He said that what you should do, somehow you give a copy of the Bible, or at least the New Testament, in the Muslim's hand. If he ever reads it honestly, he will become a Christian. He said anybody honestly read the Bible has become a Christian. There is no way, because, Bible and Quran are like light and darkness. For the first time he will see the light. He can never go back to Quran. So no use in arguing with Muslims. Just love them and tell them that this is a book. I know that your religion does not permit, but you put gloves on your hands, and because they are told to wash hands with soap if you happen to touch the Bible, because it's a corrupted book. So say that you put on gloves and read the Bible, of course, honestly, without any bias, and he will become. Why special revelation is important? Because without the special revelation, man has no way of knowing God. And to establish a meaningful relationship with Him. To achieve this, man needs to know God the right way. So God has revealed Himself in the Bible. Why was it necessary for Jesus Christ to be incarnated? Because God is a person. You read about a person in a book, until you meet that person, you don't have a personal knowledge. You only know about the person. But to know the person, you have to meet the person. So God has become a man, lived among us, made Himself available. To anybody who wanted to see Jesus, He always was available. Anybody could come. And the same Jesus is available today. So, we have, Jesus Christ, and we have the Bible. These two give us an absolutely true revelation about God. So then the question, what does Revelation tell us about God? What does the Bible tell us about God? Christians are concerned not only about the existence of God, but also about a meaningful personal relationship with God. He is concerned about the redemption of all mankind. Secular humanist declares that no God can save us. We must save ourselves. That's the position of the secular humanist. Man's problems cannot be solved by any, extraterritorial being, they say that. Man's problems have to be solved by man himself. But you know what is man's problem? What exactly is man's problem? You had plenty of food. You have a beautiful wife. You have all the modern, entertainment avenues to be entertained. And then, after watching whatever you want and all that, you go to sleep, but you cannot sleep. You turn this way, that way, that way. Finally, you take sleeping pills and why can't you sleep? You look at the animals, how silently they sleep. Why can't you sleep? Ever ask the question? You have everything you wanted, still you cannot sleep. Why? Because man has a need more than what applies to his physical body. Man's greatest need is not hunger or thirst or clothes or housing or even entertainment for his eyes or ears. No. What is man's greatest need? Peace, yes. True. Joy, peace. How can you get peace? You can buy almost everything from a shop, but you cannot buy peace. And the peace always comes from relationship. You watch, any time you have lost peace, it's on a relationship. It's always on some relationship. Either it could be wife, it could be husband, it could be children, it could be neighbor, it could be, with the government, your officer or something. Peace is lost always because your relationship with somebody affairs. And the greatest loss on that account, I will say, is peace with God. Peace with God. This man does not recognize, but that's true. Why man commits suicide?
No peace.
No peace. See, there are problems in his life he cannot solve. That's why. He knows that my problems are beyond my ability. But that man, the moment he turns to Christ, anybody who turns to Christ will not honestly commit suicide. I lived in a city called Palai for some time, and I rented a building from, in Palai, and the owner of that building, very rich man, very influential person and all that, they are very rich and all. But he was addicted to alcohol. From morning till evening, drinking. He had his father, his mother, his wife, children and all. They were all tired. He will brutally beat his wife and children, We just moved in one night. The second day evening came. I was gone somewhere and came. And so that man's wife's name is also Grace. She hurried to my wife and said, Chechi, is uncle here? Yeah, I just came in. I said, yes. Will you ask uncle to come and talk to my husband, He is full drunk. And he has a big dagger in his hand. He's standing like that outside the house back. So his name was Joyapan. So I said, Joyapan, I was afraid because I was told that, don't go near any man in Palai, if he has a knife, he definitely will kill you. So he has a knife. But as a man, when his wife came and said that I don't want it to, I wanted to prove that I'm a man. So I went and asked, what's wrong with Joyapan? He had only seen me once, the first day. He said, sir, nothing. And he said, I will go to sleep. He went to sleep. The next day, same thing, 8 o'clock, he came drunk, beat his wife and children, took a knife and he wanted to kill his wife. So she ran, said, Chechi, yes. Uncle is here, yes. Will uncle come and talk to Joyapan? He said every night, he said, well, this is going to be a liability, taking this home. But I rushed there and I said, Joyapan, and the Sare, what's happening there? He said, there's a thief somewhere here, sir. So I'm trying to catch him. He said, no, Joyapan, you go to bed, I'll catch the thief. He went to bed. Well, things go like this. And then, he gets very mean. I was gone for 1 week for a conference. I came back 1 week. As soon as I came, and my wife said, Joyapan has beaten his wife and children. They all gone. Nobody knows where they have gone. 5 days now. He's alone there. Every day he's drinking. I see him going out, coming by 5 minutes, going up, coming back, going to the bar there, drinking. Said this day, from the morning till I have not seen Joyapan. He may be dead. So can you go and look? How can I go and look? There's nobody there. If I happen to go and touch anywhere, my fingerprints come there. It's a dead body. What will happen? So I was very careful, and I went and I called Joyapan. No answer. Then again I called Joyapan. Then he said, yes, sir. Then I went there. He had a glass like this. He was stirring in something. So I said, Joyapan, what is it? He said, sir, I'm going to commit suicide. I said, what is it? I'm mixing, some very strong poison in alcohol. I'm going to drink it. So I said, Joyapan, you have to commit suicide now itself, or you can postpone it for tomorrow. So he said, Malayalam, this are I have a Bible study. If you want to come with me, and if you don't like it, tomorrow you commit suicide. Okay, sir. He put it there, and he came with me. Well, he came back and he threw it away. He said he came for Bible study. For 1 or 2 weeks he got saved. And then I knew that he has a business, he's a hotel man. They run a hotel. If he goes back to the hotel, I know he will drink, so I made him my driver. I said, Joyapan, I'm going to give you a job. They were rich people, but yet, what is it, sir? You be my driver, so that you can be with me. So I carried him everywhere for 1.5 years. He stopped completely drinking, and then he wanted to get baptized. Then his father, mother, wife, everybody got, oh, no, Joyapan going to get baptized. That's never going to happen. So they said, Sare, they said that we have been praying to Mother Mary, and Mary has answered, Joyapan is not drinking anymore. So from tomorrow on he will go back to the hotel. And I told them that Joyapan will drink. No. He stopped. 1.5 years he hasn't touched. I said, that's true. Yes. So they forced him. He went and, first day itself he drank. In 6 months he died of drinking. A truly sad man. Anyway, my point is, he was ready to commit suicide. If I did not reach there at that time in 10 minutes, he would have committed suicide. In 10 minutes. I did not tell him all that I asked him. Is it necessary for you to commit suicide today itself, or can you postpone it for? Why? Because I have a Bible study. I have a Bible. He came, sat there for 2 hours in the Bible study, and he decided life is worth more than what he had. So the message of the gospel, the message of Jesus Christ, it gives man hope. There is more than, what we see on this side of the earth. Yes. That man died because, of his, his liver was all gone because of that and this and that. But he was truly a sad person. I went to see him, and I never seen a man smiling at his death like that. Yes. He was sad. And even when he was drunk, he always read his Bible and tell about Jesus to everybody. To everybody. Yes, amazing, yes. So, the Bible, the power of the Bible, the message of Jesus Christ, there is life beyond, and it's amazing. So what does the Bible tell us about God? There is a God who loves, there is a God who saves, there is a God who came down, Christian theism confesses with Thomas, my God and my Lord. And with Peter, you have the word of eternal life. Where shall we go? God revealed it through the incarnated person of Jesus Christ, so that we could both know Him and have personal relationship with Him. The question is God knowable? If God is knowable, then God could communicate and is a person. God has personality. God has all personal virtues of reason, emotion, volition, self-determination. What is saying that any person, if we need to know, then communication is essential. Without communication, you cannot know a person. You go to a deaf person, mute, dumb, he doesn't even use sign language, nothing. You ask hundreds of questions, no answers. You come up with one answer about him. You have one knowledge that this person is dumb, mute, and blind. You cannot make any more inferences about him. Yes, that's the conclusion that many people come about God. God is so impersonal, so uninterested. Yes. Hindus call him Nirguna Brahma. He has no interest of any sort. No, our God is not Nirguna, full of guna. He is full virtues. All good characters are His. So we have a God who is knowable because He communicates. God has spoken. That's the message of the Bible. How many times we have the statement, God said, God said, God said. So God has all these personal values of reason, emotion, volition, self-determination. God is a self-conscious person. In Isaiah 44:6, God says, I am the first and I am the last, and there is no God beside me. Isn't that amazing? So what is self-conscious? None of the animals know nothing about the animal. The black dog doesn't know it's black. And the white dog doesn't know it's white. That's why the dogs do not have inferiority complex. Why do we have all these complexes? Because we have self-conscious. We look at the other person and we look at ourselves and wow. Don't we? Yeah. Yes. Dogs don't have mind. Go to the veterinary college, there is no psychiatry department there. No, there is no psychiatry department. It's only for man. It's only for man. Even you never see a psychiatric person who is below 12, 13 years old. Never. Because psychiatric problem starts when the person has self-consciousness. Begin to think who I am, what the other person is. Is he better than me? I'm, inferior, superior, smarter, not smarter, brighter, not brighter, fairer, not fairer, all these things brings to us this kind of complex. That then produces all these mental problems. Children don't have it. They don't have that complex. So our God is a great God, who He knows Himself, self-consciousness of God. I am the first and I am the last. And there is no other God beside me. In Exodus 3:14, to Moses He said, I am who I am. God is not only self-conscious, He is also sensible. He is sensible. Genesis 6:6, God is sorrowful because He created man. Deuteronomy 1:37, God is angry. Moses said, God was angry with you. He was also angry with me because of you. Psalm 111 verse 4, God is compassionate. Exodus 25, God is jealous. Our God is jealous. If any man gives a part of his glory to any other god or goddesses, our God cannot stand it, because the absolute cannot see the relative taking the place of the absolute. No, it's impossible. It's impossible. Unpardonable sin. Some question such statements about God, for they communicate the idea of limitation, they say. No. They don't communicate the idea of limitation. However, they do not show limitation, but God's willingness to reveal Himself in an anthropomorphic, personal way. When God says He is jealous, when He says He is compassionate, He is merciful, they are not limitations. They are simply using human language to say that God wants to communicate His love and compassion to human beings. God participates in human affairs. Isn't that wonderful? God participates in human affairs. God weeps when He punishes us. God pleads with us. So the Bible tells us more about God. What are the characteristics of the personal God? God is not only a personal being and communicates His attributes to man, but God is also self-determining. He is sovereign in regards to His own will. God does not consult with anybody else. God does not consult with anybody else. He is self-determining. Yes. He does all things with reference to Himself. God has never. Jesus Christ lived on the earth for 30-some years, and He had His disciples around Him for 3 years. Can you show one time when Jesus asked disciples, Peter, what are we going to do in this situation? Then what will you advise me? Never. He never sought the opinion of man or the advice of man, because even though He has become man, He is God. And as God-man, He does not take the advice of people. He is self-determining, self-knowing. Amazing. Of course, there are people who are playing God. They never consult with anybody. They think that they know everything. And boy, the mistakes they do and the troubles they get into. Yes, the troubles they get into. Of course, they think and think and think and think. They think. Mahavir K.V. Simon was a great man, a great poet and all that. He coined his own illustrations sometime. One of the illustrations he coined about how carefully man thinks to do foolishness. One of the Nairs, he brought oxen for his plowing. His horns were like this. So his nephew was there. So his nephew was fascinated the way the horns formed, the top tip touched, but then, a semi-arch. So he was going and he was watching and he was very enthused. And one day the Ammavan and the rest of the family were having lunch. Then this boy, young man, he came and he just put his head inside the horns. Because his idea was, it's like that he put it and take it out. He's put it. But as soon as he put, the ox went like this. So he sat there, shaking this back and forth. So he cried, the Ammavan and everybody came out and they pulled him out. And then the Ammavan told him, you fool, how many times I told you, before you do anything, you have to think through. And he said, Ammawa, from the day you brought this oxen, I have been thinking day and night. How to do it. sober thinking. How to put my hand, but never worked out. That's what man's thinking sometimes does, Yeah. He thinks and thinks. He cannot. Yes. Some intelligent people, they understood it. Yes. Yes. Immanuel Kant was a great, theologian, philosopher. Lived in Germany, not too far ago. He was sitting in a garden seat, and he went there when the garden was opened, and sat there on a chair in the garden and sit there, and he was singing. So the gatekeeper was watching him all day. He was sitting. It's time to lock the gates at 8 o'clock, and so the man went up to there. Sir, you have been sitting here all day. Who are you, sir? He said, that's what I have been thinking. That's what I have been thinking all day. Who am I? If you have an answer, tell me. Great scholars, they all think, sometimes they're thinking about, That's no answer. God doesn't have to think. God doesn't have to think for an answer. Because He is the answer. He is all-knowing God. So when we say that God is all-knowing, we often don't understand what do we mean by, an all-knowing God.
We'll take it.
Take a break? Okay, sure, we'll take a break there.